Good morning and a very warm welcome to the Sunny Brae Bowling Club on Auckland's North Shore for the penultimate day of these Summerset National Singles and Pairs. Our third day of finals coverage we're bringing to you here on Sky Sport Next. I'm Brenton Van Nistelrooy. Some stage I'll be joined by Kevin Hickland. We're providing coverage today of the New Zealand blind and disabled lawn bowls singles and pairs, and we have a semi-final matchup for you. First up today in the disabled singles is Kevin Asplin of the Rotorua Club up against Linda Bennett of Te Awamutu. And we are underway. I'm now playing, I believe, the second end, and it was a 3 picked up by Kevin Asplin on the first end, and this, of course, race to 21 singles action. Kevin Asplin earlier, bit of an upset, beating Graham Skillern of Takapuna 21-12 in the quarterfinals, and Linda Bennett, comprehensive 21-8 winner over Pam Walker of Ormako. The other semi-final sees Steve Walker of Awamoa take on Bruce Wakefield of the Burnside Club in Christchurch. Walker early had a 21-8 quarterfinal victory over Ken Node of Te Awamutu, while Bruce Wakefield beat Grant Edgar of Matua 21-12. Had 12 players qualify for post-section play of the disabled singles here at the Summerset Nationals. And so it meant we actually have an extra round of play. Would have expected to be bringing you a final matchup here, but because of the extra qualifiers, we are semi-final stage. We'll keep you up to date with not only this semi-final, but also the other semi-final taking place here at the Sunny Brae Club, next to the North Shore Event Centre. For those familiar with the North Shore region. And attacking here is Kevin Asplin, playing with that extra weight. Runs into the front bowls of Linda Bennett. So Linda Bennett here, a chance to hit straight back. Of course, Linda Bennett represented the Parajacks in bowls 3-5 a couple of seasons ago. Very accomplished parabola, represented New Zealand. And that one's just going to slide through the head. Mark Cameron, bowls New Zealand CEO, and the marker duties. Doesn't appear to have any lollipops. Hopefully he provided with them at some stage. Certainly doing his bit. We'll wait and see how many that was, but Linda Bennett certainly has the mat and the jack, so she is on the board. After Kevin Asplin picked up a 3 on the opening end. This disabled singles semi-final. Steve Walker of Awamoa and Bruce Wakefield of Burnside in the other semi-final, which we'll keep you up to date with. That semi-final not yet underway. And it was a 2 for Linda Bennett on the second end. So score now 3-2. Kevin Asplin leading Linda Bennett in his first 2-21 disabled singles semi-final here at the Summerset Nationals. After being at Carlton Cornwall, the host club of this tournament, making our way across the bridge to Sunny Brae and Glenfield on Auckland's North Shore for the big finals here of not only the disabled national singles and pairs, but also the blind national singles and pairs. Already we had blind pairs final this morning. James Dunn of the Paeroa Club beating Steve Delaney of Stoke 18-8. So congratulations to James Dunn.
Got one in my bag here.
in the
One's
blind
on the
pairs.
top of my bag here.
And we will have the blind singles final for you this afternoon. At the same time, the disabled singles will be taking place, so we'll keep you up to date with that as well. Chris Lander, Mark O'Connor, and behind the scoreboard there, Chris Lander, the tournament director of the Summerset Nationals, Mark O'Connor, the president of Bowls New Zealand. So all the top brass here for the finals day of the disabled and blind singles and pairs at these Summerset Nationals. Linda Bennett having that plenty of green, asking maybe a bit too much of it. It's not going to make its way anywhere near back to the centre line. Now Kevin Asplin. Playing on the backhand side. Much tighter line than that of Bennett. Still needing it to come back. Asking a bit of it. It's a great weighted bowl and very fair effort. It's not going to beat the first bowl of Linda Bennett, which was right on the money. So Bennett holding shot. Now with that third bowl, of this the third end. Looks like this is a great adjustment after a wayward second bowl from Linda Bennett. Right back towards that centre line, right in behind the jack. Maybe enough for second shot. Kevin Asplin there just talking to Mark Cameron, the Bowls New Zealand CEO, who's showing his wide range of skills. Of course, he was representing Riverhead Club in the men's pairs of these Summerset Nationals. Now, helping out as marker in this disabled singles semi-final. And that is a great response from Kevin Asplin, right in behind the jack. And it'll be very interesting to see if that is shot. Certainly from that angle, it suggests that that is beating that first bowl of Linda Bennett. Linda Bennett asking the marker, Mark Cameron, what he thinks. We'll see if he gives an indication here. I think there's a measure for shot. That's what he's suggesting there. Don't know if Linda Bennett should be relying on Mark Cameron's eyes. Very much a junior bowler. Yeah, but he talks about all the titles he wins as a junior. I think it's because he's the only junior at the club. As Linda Bennett looking to respond to that great bowl from Kevin Asplin. Looked on a great line, just not quite enough weight. Needed that to roll a couple more feet. That might have been right on target. Now Kevin Asplin just looking to see if he can make his way around that bowl from Bennett. Looks like the hand's pretty blocked up on the backhand and maybe now on the forehand side as well. So Kevin Asplin taking his time before bowling his last of this third end. He leads 3-2. Played 2 ends. Of course, have an unlimited number of ends. It's all about who gets to 21 first in the game of singles. Looks like kind of good area as well. I think it's just going to cut under the line and may, in fact, unfortunately, push the Bennett bowl onto the shot. So very unlucky there, Kevin Asplin. There's a good effort, but it looks like Bennett has grabbed shot after Asplin promoted that Bennett bowl. I'm not quite sure what our marker was discussing there with Bennett and Asplin, but certainly Bennett has picked up shot. Waiting for confirmation, but it should be a third. For Linda Bennett. We should be all tied up at 3 apiece. I think Mark Cameron might be checking out of the marker duties. Already been dumped after just 3 ends. That's the shortest career as a marker in Summerset Nationals history. It's like Graham Skillern, who was beaten by Kevin Asplin in the quarterfinals of the disabled pairs, is helping out now as a marker, which is much appreciated. Obviously, tournaments like these don't happen without volunteers. It's good to see after Graham Skillern got knocked out of post-section play, he's still lending a hand to proceedings here at the Sunnybray Bowling Club. So Kevin Asplin now with his first of this, the 4th end. After Linda Bennett was short with her first. Certainly looks like better weight. It's going to make its way back to that centre line as well. Just coming under. So we'll just want to adjust the weight of his next attempt, Kevin Asplin. And just confirming it was a 1 to Linda Bennett on the previous end. So we are tied up at 3 apiece. Kevin Asplin and Linda Bennett in this disabled singles semi-final here at the Sunnybray Bowling Club on Auckland's North Shore. There's a touch-up from Linda Bennett. Beautifully bowled. Drags the jack off that centre line, and now we're going to be playing to a tricky part of the green. Her bowl ends up just in front of the previous bowl from Kevin Asplin. So certainly she's holding shot. Now Asplin changing hands, coming onto the backhand, hanging it out wide, trying to bring it back to what's a slightly tricky part of the green once the jack's moved off that centre line. And gave it too much green. Now Linda Bennett might use that as a bit of a guide. Weight was near perfect from Kevin Asplin. As you can see, they're almost jack level. So Linda Bennett will look to come inside that previous line of Asplin's. Looks in the air again. We're getting another toucher. No, just going to come under the line. But that'll be shot. Great bowl from Linda Bennett. So certainly looks like Bennett's holding 2. Kevin Asplin out of Rotorua. Now with his 3rd. So got a Bay of Plenty Waikato battle here with Bennett out of Te Awamutu. And that's a great correction from Asplin. And that'll grab the shot back. Linda Bennett asking Graham Skillern for an indication there. Skillern, the marker. It was beaten by Kevin Asplin, 21-12, and what was maybe the surprise of the quarterfinals. Skillern, who was also in action in the men's singles here at these Summerset Nationals, as well as the disabled singles. A very accomplished bowler and open play, as well as in the power ranks. As now Asplin needing to respond to that bowl from Linda Bennett, and he's going to run into Bennett's short bowl. Should be 1 to Bennett by the look of our picture there. So it's been a great bounce back from Linda Bennett after she dropped a 3 on the first end of this disabled singles semi-final at the Summerset Nationals. She's now taken the lead. 4-3 it'll be. Kevin Asplin, I think, will make his way to the scoreboard and confirm that was another single for Linda Bennett, but she has got the jack and the mat back in her hands, as it has been since after she dropped that first 3. So she gets to dictate the length that we're playing at. And where the mat is placed. Saw some great bowls from Bennett that previous end. A couple of touches. Another within a couple of feet. Kevin Asplin had one crack up, but wasn't able to match what Bennett was capable of. And again, this one looks on a pretty good line to the jack. It's just going to come around the back. Well, certainly has got into her work very nicely as Linda Bennett. Power jack. And just confirming that was a single for Bennett on the previous end, so 4-3. She now leads Kevin Asplin. And this race to 21, disabled singles semi-final. It wasn't a bad reply from Kevin Asplin with his first. Now Bennett go jack hunting again. She's had a number of touches already in this semi-final. Wasn't far away with her first on this end. It's going to find a similar home to her first. Just reminding you that we will have the blind singles final as well later this afternoon here on Sky Sport Next, as we focus on the disabled and blind sections of these Summerset Nationals. As this time it's Asplin with the toucher, just gets a little feather on the jack and runs into one of Bennett's bowls. Graham Skillern with the spray again to mark that that is indeed a toucher. Linda Bennett, I think, asking a bit too much of this. I think he actually knew there that step over to her left, that asking a bit too much of it with her line. It's going to find relatively similar home to her first couple, but of course the jack has been moved off that centre line, as you could see. Asplin. He looks like he's a touch narrow. The weight's pretty handy though. And hard to tell, but that could indeed be shot. Obviously, Linda Bennett will no doubt want to change proceedings here. Linda Bennett wanting this one to hold up. And again, it just slides through the head. Wasn't far away from getting another touch on that one. So opportunity here for Kevin Asplin. Unsure exactly if he is holding shot or not, but he can make sure of it here with his final bowl of this end. And it's going to find a very good home. And that should be shot. Certainly looks like it from our angle. And yet, two kicked away there by Linda Bennett. You think that is the story. We'll wait for Graham Skillern, who's doing the marking duties, to update the scoreboard. But good bounce back from Kevin Asplin here of Rotorua up against Linda Bennett of Te Awamutu. Asplin, who grabbed a 3 on the first end. Bennett, who picked a 2 on the second, and a couple of singles. So Asplin now has the mat. And he delivers the jack to the length he wants it. So slightly deeper length end. The mat's all the way back. Just waiting for that scoreboard to be updated. Certainly Asplin has picked up at least one. And now Graham Skillern mark it kindly updating the scoreboard, and it is in fact a 2 for Kevin Asplen, so 5-4. He takes the lead back against Linda Bennett in this disabled singles semi-final we are bringing to you here on Sky Sport next. So now Linda Bennett with her first. Again, isn't far away. A great ability to come back to the jack and find it on a number of occasions. Yeah, just not quite finding his right line there, Kevin Asplen, on this occasion. See how Linda Bennett can maybe just give herself a bit more green and try and actually finish on that centre line. She's been coming a bit under the head. Look at that one. Right, jack level. Great bowl from Linda Bennett and of Tiawa Mutu. Asplen looking to make that correction from his latest bowl. As Kevin Hicklin has joined me. We tried to throw him off by starting nice and early, but he's now here at the Sunny Bray Bowling Club. Very good morning to you, Kevin.
Good morning, Brenton, and beautiful morning here at Sunny Bray for these finals day, which of course we're covering. And Kevin Asplen, of course, winner of a couple of New Zealand titles, played in the fours for Sid Giddy, won 2 New Zealand fours titles, and played for many, many years in the Bay of Plenty side, of course out of Rotorua. Very, very proficient lead. And Linda Bennett, of course, who was part of the Bowls 3-5 format the year before last, and also a very good performer. So great to be able to see them here in action today in this semi-final.
Yeah, it's good to see Graham Skillern marking as well, who actually was beaten by Kevin Asplen in the quarterfinals. Skillern, who obviously, pretty sure he made it to post-section play in the men's singles, these Summerset Nationals.
Well, and of course he got down to the last 16 of the pairs with Brett O'Reilly as well.
Yeah, that's right. It was the pairs, of course, he made to post-section play. As this one looks on a pretty decent line. Has it got the weight to get back to the jack? Yes, it does. Great bowl from Linda Bennett. As not quite sure what that discussion was about. I think just a bit of a laugh with Graham Skillern, as Kevin Asplen also shares a few words. So certainly 1. Is it 2? You think it is?
You think that jack level bowl would in the second shot, Brenton. Another beautiful day here in Auckland at present, and let's hope that continues for today and tomorrow.
Oh, it was a scorcher yesterday, wasn't it?
The scorcher, all right, certainly was.
Reaching into the high 20s, high humidity as well. It was barely a cloud in the sky. More cloud cover today.
Yeah, there is more cloud cover. At one stage here yesterday at our place at Oraki, it was 28 degrees, which is quite unusual actually because we're close to the sea, and the humidity was high, and it was certainly barbecue weather yesterday, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So let's check the scoreboard, and it's going to be confirmed. That was a 2 for Linda Bennett, so she reclaims the lead now. 6-5 it is in this race to 21 disabled singles semi-final. The other semi-final between Steve Walker of Aylmore and Bruce Wakefield of Burnside. that's been played on the rink on the far side. I think that has got underway. We will endeavour to keep you up to date with that contest as well. In fact, it is just on the rink alongside us, so that'll be nice and easy to keep you up to date with. And I think it is Bruce Wakefield who is leading 7-5 over Steve Walker.
So you can see here Kevin Aspin on the backhand. Very, very good draw player over many, many years. And of course, as I say, playing with Sid Giddy, one of the leading New Zealand players of a few years back, along with Kevin Robinson, who of course now based in Australia. And Linda Bennett, very formidable in the Waikato region as well. We've won a number of events in the Waikato. Got a unique delivery, but she certainly doesn't deter her at all from on the very steady draw player.
Well, that's the thing. Not only are these players obviously at the very top in the country when it comes to disabled bowls, but in open competitions, they are formidable as well.
Well, absolutely. And it's interesting, like Bruce Wakefield playing that other semi-final. I was down at Burnside, and it was 2 years ago for the Burnside Invitation Peers, and he was actually playing with Hamish Wilson, who obviously qualified in the singles here. And Bruce Wakefield was more than likely, and there was a number of international players on the green, and Bruce Wakefield would have been one of the leading players right throughout the 4-day event at Burnside. He was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, and that's why we certainly love the contribution that the Parajacks made to Bowls 3-5 Season 2 on Sky Sport. There's a chance for them to get back for Season 4. And no doubt Linda Bennett would love to be involved again. And look at this.
Great bowl
what
here.
A bowl that is
toucher
from Bennett. Yeah, beautiful toucher. And she's had a number of those already today, Kevin. I think that's probably half a dozen already. This one, the pick of the bunch, because it's stayed with the jack. And right in behind.
And drew through that port, Brendan, and out in front of her, a metre out in front of the head. And Kevin Aspin on his backhand. I don't think he liked that one at its delivery point. We'll see. But a moment.
Yeah, straight away. Walk to the side. He wasn't far away, clearly.
He rocked that shot bowl.
If that was the intention, not too sure. So, Bennett holding shot with that previous bowl. Can she add another to the count? She leads 6-5. Race to 21 in this disabled singles semi-final. Just wants to get around that short bowler. Kevin Aspin isn't going to. You can see her moving further and further out to the right-hand side, urging it to get around. But I think she knew straight away it was going to be pushing it to get around that short bowl of Asplin's.
Which is on that comeback walk, come back to the centre line walk. So here's Asplin, formerly the Arawa Club in Rotorua, on the charge, trying to get to the shot bowl of Linda Bennett's and going under the head on the narrow side. Of course, for these players as well, Brendan, they'll be in like the Commonwealth Games coming up, of course, in 2022, where of course they will no doubt be part of they're part of the whole integral part of the whole Commonwealth Games setup, aren't they?
Well, last two games have picked up silver medals, haven't they? The Parajacks and the triples. Bruce Wakefield and also Mark Noble and Barry Winks at the last games, and I believe Linda Bennett was actually involved in the previous triple back in 2014 at Glasgow, so I'm sure Bennett would love to go to another Commonwealth Games, confirming that was a single for Bennett, so 7-5. Bennett leading Kevin Asplin in this race to 21 disabled singles semi-final. Gives away the jack and delivered with interest there from Graham Skillerd.
The softball delivery back to the other end. Of course, also there's the Trent Tasman coming up as well later on this year, where I believe the Paras form part of that. The COVID yet, who knows, but scheduled for June of this coming year. And just, time will tell where that finishes up.
So Asplin again to deliver the jack after Linda Bennett gave it away. And it's right on the 2 metre mark, I think. Certainly a deep, long end. As Bennett has the mat up a couple of feet. Yeah, so not quite all the way back. Still a longer end than we've seen so far in this singles semi-final.
Had a great line to the jack, just fell that metre and a bit short, but certainly on the the right line to the jack. Kevin Asplin just having a look to see which hand he'll play. Just want to ask Graham Skillern how lower the jack that bowl of Linda Bennett's is, and that'll determine what hand he plays. And on his backhand, about a metre to draw the shot, a metre and a bit.
Skillern providing marker duties, who is one of the hometown favourites, just from the nearby Takapuna club. Skillern, but losing earlier this morning against Kevin Asplin, 21-12 it was. Linda Bennett beat Pam Walker of the Ormarco club, 21-8. Linda Bennett with her second bowl, decent correction, weight near perfect, just slightly under greened.
Kevin Asplin remaining on that backhand side. Just wonder how that line is. Breaks towards the centre line now. It's going to be short of weight, and it was more than likely short of green too. It was going to finish under the line, you could see.
Yeah, struggling so far a bit more with this length that they're playing to. But no doubt they'll make the adjustments. I'll be surprised if you don't see Linda Bennett absolutely on the jack again with one of her bowls remaining on this end. The 8th of this Sabled singles semi-final. Of course, it's an unlimited number of ends. It's all about who gets to 21 first. And the winner to play in the final later this afternoon. And that one has come under the line. Again, the weight's pretty good. Just made too much of a adjustment. Playing on that backhand side. Just need a bit more green. And Asplin sticking to that backhand side.
Looks to have corrected, Brenton. Just going to depend on that weight now as it breaks back towards the centre line. But
looked on a very good line, didn't it?
On a great line, certainly on a great direct line to the jack, but lost that metre of weight at the finish.
Yeah, just needed a bit more on that one, a metre or so, and that would have been shot. Interesting to see if Linda Bennett sticks with the backhand side or believes it's now clogged up. No, now playing with a bit of weight, I think, Bennett.
And on a wider line this time, Brenton, isn't it? Just how far it's going to come back as it goes past this bowl.
Yeah, straight away you could tell on the hand that she certainly gave that more. And yeah, unfortunately for her, it was much wider and asked a bit too much of it. So now Kevin Asplin with an opportunity.
He's got to meet it. Beats his own bowl, Brenton, to be very close to shot. The last bowl, his third bowl. If he beats that bowl, he's going to come all the way back.
Is he going to get inside the Bennett bowl?
Get inside it and fall in.
It should be shot, even if it doesn't fall in. I think you'd favour it, wouldn't you?
Yes, definitely. The way how it looks there on that the centre line and where it's positioned.
So a bit of a scrappy end from both players as they struggle to adapt this longer length. But you'd favour that final bowl, and indicated there by Linda Bennett. Yeah, and she gives the mat away. So 1-2 Kevin Asplin on this, the 8th end. So it tightens up once more. It's been a very close contest between these two. Linda Bennett now leading 7-6 in the race to 21 in this singles semi-final. At the Sunnybray Bowling Club, if you notice a slight change of scenery, if you're watching our coverage here on Sky Sport Next for the first couple of days of finals of the Summerset Nationals, which we're at the host club, Carlton Cornwall. We'll be returning there tomorrow, but today our focus very much on the disabled and blind finals, which are taking place here at Sunnybray. So we've come across the bridge, and it's great to be able to bring you this coverage here on Sky Sport Next. Brenton Vannisselroy alongside Kevin Hicklin. We will have the blind singles final for you this afternoon. Unfortunately, the disabled singles final is going to be on at the same time, so we will endeavour to keep you up to date with that disabled singles final at the same time as we bring you the blind singles final. They'll be on rinks next to each other, so you should be able to do just that. But make sure you stick with us here on Sky Sport Next. Plenty of bowls to come today and tomorrow, as well as we have both the women's pairs and the men's singles finals to close these Summerset Nationals for 2021.
Kevin Aspen, of course, comes from a very well-known bowling family in the Bay of Plenty, Waikato. His mother, Greta, has been part of the scene for a number of years. A lot of time at the Hillcrest Club, and Waikato was a Waikato selector for a number of years on the centre. So bowls has been very, very much part of the Aspen families. We see this bowler, Kevin Aspen, just disappear, slide under the head, just lacking that weight. Kevin Aspen holding the shot, trailing Linda Bennett 7-6 in the race to 21.
There's been very little between these two. Aspen scoring a 3 on the first end, and since then the lead has changed hands a couple of times. Bennett scoring on the next 3 ends to take a 4-3 advantage. Then Aspen picking up a 2 to go 5-4 ahead, and then Bennett a 2 herself to take the lead. So not much between these two.
It's interesting just seeing Kevin Aspen then has one part of his apparel now, just to put the floppy on, and Kevin Aspen along with Mike Kernahan was always known for their very distinct floppy hats. Everybody knew in those days in the 80s and the 90s. Kevin Aspen always...
another touch out. Unfortunately for Linda Bennett, it's just moved it towards one of Kevin Aspen's bowls, but that's already at least half a dozen touches that Linda Bennett's had.
She's unlucky there because she got the jack clean on the draw and just sort of stayed with the Kevin Aspen bowl. But he was always well known, very distinctive header type, and I see it's back.
Well, it's good to see. Got to keep sun smart even on these overcast days in Auckland. Throughout anywhere in New Zealand.
Well, he doesn't want to get the jack tucked on.
He's unfortunate there, or maybe fortunate, to be honest.
If you got the back of the jack on the way through, it would have sliced back, I'd say, Brendan, to that Linda Bennett bowl just sitting.
And only just rocked his shot bowl as well. So interesting. I don't know if there was a mistake that he made with that weight.
It was quite heavy when it went past, wasn't it?
And he is holding shot. The bowls look slightly similar coloured on our screen, but there's darker bowls. Charcoaly. Looks like he's picked up another single, and we should be all tied up here. 7 apiece between Kevin Aspen of Rotorua and Linda Bennett of Te Awamutu. So it's a Bay of Plenty Waikato battle. Another semi-final. Steve Walker of Aomoa up against Bruce Wakefield of Burnside. See if I can peer out the window. We can catch a score update on that one. Well, I think the board is certainly, maybe it was just completely wrong previously. But now it is showing, I believe, 5-1. Surely that can't be right. I might have to make my way out there at some stage. Maybe there's 11-5, Bruce Wakefield leading Steve Walker, but don't take that score as gospel. I'll make my way out there shortly to check what the score is of that other semi-final here of the disabled singles. The winner to play either Kevin Asplin or Linda Bennett in this afternoon's final.
So good opening bowl here. Kevin Aspin just lower the jack, just creeps over the centre line, only about half a metre short of the jack. You'd be happy with that, but they need to be close because Linda Bennett, as I've seen, has certainly drawn a number of touches and got a very consistent draw within her game.
Yeah, asking a bit too much with this one. This would have been pretty handy if they've been playing the same length we'd played the previous end. It's been pulled back a couple of metres by Kevin Asplin. He's brought the mat up quite significantly as well from the previous end, so much shorter length than we played last time, playing this way towards the North Shore Event Centre.
Just going to run into what is his first bowl, that half a metre lower the centre of the jack.
It's actually funny, Kevin. All the times I went to the North Shore Event Centre, covered hundreds of breakers, basketball games, tall black games, and badminton, and all kinds of events in the North Shore Event Centre. Never knew that the Sunny Brae Bowling Club was here. Much to my surprise when I drove past the North Shore Event Centre this morning.
Yeah, because of course it's just on the back here, isn't it? The North Shore Event Centre, which is literally one of the homes. They've got numerous homes now. The breakers.
And you've got the golf course just over the other side as well, so it's a bit of a sporting hub here in Glenfield.
This bowl of Kevin Aspin's going to get back to the centre line. That two will count as it will fall in on the centre line. It does.
He's probably holding 3 here, so
looks like it.
Linda Bennett needs something with one of her last couple of bowls. Otherwise, Aspin could be picking up big number. Playing again on the forehand side with...
There's a better line, Brendan, this
attacking line, isn't it? Has she got the jack again? Yes, she has. Again, moves it towards an Aspin bowl, but that may have cut it to just one. Certainly think it's just the one now. Aspin's bowl just behind the jack on that centre line. You think, obviously that's the shot. I think Bennett's now, given that it's almost jack level, would be second.
So Kevin Aspin there asking Graham Scalloon what the position was, and Kevin Aspin gone on the wider side with this bowl, and he won't be too concerned about that and over the head.
Linda Bennett will probably just fancy same thing as what she did previously. If she can get a stronger connection on the jack, she might even move it out to a previous bowl.
I think the call from Graham Scalloon then, it was just the one asking Linda Bennett asking what the story was on the head. So as Brendan said, got the jack with the third bowl, did Linda Bennett.
A bit narrow, I think, with this effort though, unless she gets a nice fortuitous touch off one of the Aspin bowls. She doesn't. She rocks them forward maybe somewhat. Has that changed the situation? The marker, Graham Scalloon, looking over the head, joined now by Bennett as well. And Linda Bennett seeming to suggest it's just one, but Kevin Aspin will come have a look as well. One shot bowl taken away. I might get an umpire actually. Maybe that little rock forward of the bowl that Bennett did with running into those short Aspin bowls has actually knocked one of them close enough that it's maybe grabbed the shot here. Kevin Aspin thinks there's certainly a chance. So
it certainly got a touch on the bowl, didn't it? When that last bowl of Linda Bennett's. And you're talking about Sunny Brae, Brenton. When this club was actually moved here to this location here, in conjunction with the support of, at the time, what was the North Shore City Council, there was great plans here for this club to become like a part of a full sporting hub here, with multiple surface options, and there were some very, very innovative ideas here for Sunny Brae. And of course, the plan, of course, was for also to be the headquarters for North Harbour Bowls, and for it to be virtually a centre, but for whatever, and it was just the one. It was that side bowl of Linda Bennett's, which was the second shot. But it's a lovely setting here, though, still in around, just in behind the Takapuna Municipal Golf Club. And it's a nice setting. And as Brenton said, right by the event centre, there's been a number of sporting events of all kinds, of course, played at badminton, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's been New Zealand Badminton Open there. I know there's a big gymnastics arena there too, part of the event centre. Yeah, but quite incredible that I never knew that just down the other end of the car park, here we are at the Sunny Bay Bowling Club. It is great to be here. It's good to see another of these clubs which are hosting these Summerset Nationals, because while Carlton Cornwall does an absolute fantastic job as the host club, these events are not possible with just one club. A culmination of a number of clubs, I think it's 18 or 19 in the Auckland and North Harbour centres, which are hosting these Summerset Nationals. Howick and Browns Bay, a lot of the action taking place there. I think all of the women's singles post-section players going to be played.
The pairs
there.
are all at Browns Bay, all the women's. And
pairs, excuse me.
And of course, what that allows is to get to a last 8 without having to move around. So there's enough greens, etc., there at Browns Bay that will accommodate that. And of course, with the men's singles, they will get at the last 8 as well. I think it's 4 venues that it will accumulate will get to that result. So we'll have 8 left tonight. Again, the women's.
I think we'll have 4 left.
We'll
have 4 left because we're going to have a semi-final first thing
Correct.
in the morning, because that, of course, women's pairs final will take place late morning. It will start, and it'll be followed by the men's singles final. So men's singles will have quarter-final, semi-final and the final tomorrow.
Also been a big shout out to the people yesterday who took up the call to come and mark. We put a call out, of course, on our coverage, and they actually got a couple from Hamilton who responded.
Wow.
And drove up from Hamilton. They got hold of Alex and drove up from Hamilton.
Oh, that's amazing.
And marked yesterday. And then from here, Trish Croup put out a call as well for markers to help out here yesterday. And some people around the area heeded the call. It might have been to mark one match, whatever. So but they turned up to get that good complement of markers. So a big thank you to all of those people who helped out. It was a big day yesterday with, of course, a full men's singles field, and over here at Sunny Bay with the para and disabled as well, and the blind bowlers. There's a big call on markers yesterday.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear people able to give up their time like that and travelling all the way from Hamilton as well to help out to make these Summerset Nationals a reality. Again, just sliding through the head is Linda Bennett. Just under the line, wasn't far away from getting a touch on the jack once more.
One bowl away from, sitting right on top of the jack.
Kaushik Patel, the high performance manager for Bowls New Zealand, watching on, sharing a few words with Linda Bennett too.
So this bowl, Kevin Aspin's on a very good arc. How far is it going to come back to the centre line? It's come back well. In fact, now it's at jack level, and that would definitely be shot.
Graham Skilloon, the marker, just having a little look over the head as Linda Bennett has asked, is it just the one? Yeah, it seemed to suggest, yep, just the one finger went up there from Skilloon. Kevin Asplin's favour from that, his last bowl. So that bowl just out to the right of the previous picture is the one to beat. Linda Bennett gets down incredibly low with her delivery. Yeah, I thought she didn't like it out of the hand, so asked a bit too much of it, bit too much green. So that will certainly be the second shot though. So it'll be risk 1 to Kevin Aspin, 9-7 now leading Linda Bennett in this race to 21. Disabled singles semi-final from the Sunny Bay Bowling Club on Auckland's North Shore.
Interesting, Graham Skilloon, the marker, playing in the disabled singles and got beaten, but got another string to his bow, of course, in his younger days was a very, very proficient tennis player. He played in Taranaki at the Huatoki Club in New Plymouth, and was a very, very good tennis player in his younger days.
Yeah, very keen sportsman. And bowls now his passion. And at Takapuna, we've seen Wyn Gray, the former New Zealand Herald, long-time New Zealand Herald rugby reporter, has made it through to post-section play. I understand he declined an interview. He said he would he would be happy to do an interview if he makes the semi-finals, which I don't think he feels he will be making the semi-finals.
Yeah.
All good reporters, though, don't want to be the story. They want to report on the story. So good on Wyn.
Never be the story.
Exactly right. So that's exactly how it is. But other media personalities like Doug Golightly, old radio sport host and editor of The Truth, he was also in action in men's section play in the singles yesterday.
He came in as a. He actually contacted me the night before. He came in as a replacement. There must have been someone pulled out of the field. Not sure what happened. And Douglas, he responded to the call, and actually enjoyed the day because also at Central were people that had been associated for a long time. Gary Lawson, Mike Kernahan, Jamie Hill. So he had a chance to catch up with him. And he also was playing out of the, I think he's at the Takapuna Club as well, along with Bob Telford, the former Southland rugby coach, and of course Wyn Gray. And of course Bob Howard used to play out of the Takapuna Club as well before he moved down south. Lindsay Knight's another of the well, he's a legendary. And he's now literally, I would call him the historian for North Harbour. He writes a lot of articles for their website on events and all sorts of things. And I caught up with Lindsay a few weeks ago at a Bowls North Harbour function. Unfortunately for Lindsay, he hasn't been in the best of health, but he's fine, and I had a good chat to him. And one of the doyens of the amount.
He is one of New Zealand's premier rugby historians, if not the premier rugby historian, Lindsay Knight. So yeah, real media personality who's who at the Takapuna Club on Auckland's North Shore. And Graham Skaloon, while we're mentioning Takapuna, one of those.
One of those as well, of course. Yeah, I'd hate to guess how many books that here's a great bowl here from Kevin Aspin, nestled right alongside the Jack.
Yeah, brilliant bowl, and warmly applauded as well by those in attendance here at Sunny Bray.
Holding 3 by the looks at this stage, Brenton.
Let's see if Skaloon gives an indication here. It was a verbal indication, I think, rather than a gesture. So I think Linda Bennett might have said, is that 3 or is that 2? And
looks
it's confirmed by Skaloon.
It's on a good line. This bowl of Linda Bennett's. Is it going to break all the way to the Jack? It's certainly on a good line. If it gets around the Kevin Aspin bowl, it could well get shot if it falls in. That's a magnificent attempt.
Yeah, great effort. And straight away it looked on a handy line. So that should be second. So Aspin now just holding the 1. He takes his time there as thinks about his options, Kevin Aspin. Following this one down.
Following this one up, endeavouring to try and sit on the Linda Bennett bowl. And this is a good attempt as well as it's breaking in towards the head. Not quite going to have the weight to get the shot that he wanted, but was certainly on line to do so. And I wonder whether we'll see Linda Bennett change her hand, Brenton, try and get under. Now she's got a close second shot and get under the head, under the Kevin Aspin bowls, get a touch on the Jack. Could well make a couple of it.
Playing with a bit of weight, I think, here, Linda Bennett. Certainly looked the way out of the hand. It looks a bit narrow. Unless she can get the Aspin bowl. No. Almost got her own out the back. We've been happy that that went past. So should be another to Kevin Aspin. Good little run from the player out of Rotorua. So 10-7 it will now be. Kevin Asplin leading Linda Bennett. Yeah, so was 7-6 down, wasn't he? In fact, 7-5 down, and has scored on 4 of the next 5 ends.
I can tell you about Wyn Gray. He's a very passionate bowler and very competitive. Very.
I can certainly picture that. I don't think he enjoyed me stitching him up by passing on his details to the media representative, who was keen to have a chat to Wyn about his exploits. And that is the beautiful thing about this game, being an open tournament.
Absolutely.
Anyone, if you're a member of a club, you can enter.
Just slipped past the jack to that bowl. Kevin Asplin was sitting on line to the jack. It certainly is, and that's why it's great to see here the disabled and the blind bowlers as well here today, Brendan, because it says a lot for the sport, doesn't it? That you can, whatever, you can come and play this game, and now we see that now all the way up right through secondary schools, of course, right to all the way through with that good program. Now there's a very strong program for the para and blind bowlers as well. And to those people that are out there watching, if you know somebody that's in the disabled or in that blind lifestyle, they can certainly be every bowling club around the country have got no issues. They can certainly accommodate them. I know there's one of the boys out here is one of the Stoke players, and I know that Steve Delaney, and I know like the Stoke club, they really embraced it and they follow them. And I see today on the Stoke Facebook page there was articles and that about. So it's a sport, of course, where all can be accommodated. So, and openly, there's no sort of segregation of it. Everybody can be accommodated.
Yeah, certainly. It is great to have both the para bowlers and the blind bowlers as part of these Summerset Nationals. Again here for 2021, as they were involved last year down in Christchurch. So Kevin Asplin, who's scored on the last 5 ends after being 7-5 down. Wanting something close here because Linda Bennett is holding shot. This looks like a pretty decent line. It's going to come inside and it comes around that bowl. But that
falls in.
Yeah, that might be enough for shot. Obviously hard from our angle, but that's a fine effort from Kevin Asplin. I think he just slapped his thigh, suggesting maybe it wasn't quite enough for shot, but...
Well, asking the question...
Yeah, and there we go. So, Graham Skillern putting his foot almost on the shot bowl to indicate that Linda Bennett's bowl, blue bowl, just to the right of the jack in that previous shot, is holding. Now with her third, Linda Bennett.
On a good line again as this bowl as it breaks towards that centre line. How's the weight? Certainly had a really good line towards the jack.
Yeah, it did. Come up short though, and you'd think that it's not going to change the count.
More than likely, may well. Careful for Kevin Asplin on their backhand. He wouldn't want to touch the bowl, but if he can just get past that bowl though of Linda Bennett's, he's on that good line again. He would just about have a shot. It's on a good line, this bowl. How's the weight?
Oh, unfortunately, I think it's going to run into that Bennett bowl. No, it goes on the inside of it somehow. And has found a pretty good home, but is Bennett still holding? She's asking the question. Graham Skillern's having a look.
There's always the danger, of course, of touching that bowl and moving it in closer towards the head and just sort of graze past it.
You wouldn't have seen it, Kevin, but Mark Cameron was actually doing the marking before Graham Skillern took over after the, I think, the third end of this final. It must have been one of the shorter reigns as a marker in tournament history. stumped after 3 ends.
I hear he was the self-appointed umpire and everything at Central, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah, he walked away from Carlton the other night with all the sheets. He's looking very, very important for his role. I don't know how it went.
Just showing how hands-on the Bowls New Zealand CEO is. Willing to do his bit to make this tournament run smoothly.
So this looks like it's literally an all-round the head measure, Brenton, isn't it? Because there could be about 4 or 5 bowls, 1, 2, 3, 4 bowls that could be in contention on the measure.
Graham Scalern, the marker, helping out here. Umpire may be otherwise engaged, so Graham Scalern helps out.
We'll know in a moment. Someone's got...
I think Linda Bennett has the mat, I believe. And the jack. So, needed as well after giving up 5 shots on the last 5 ends. Asplin picking up singles on all 5 of them. And we wait for the scoreboard to be ticked over. You think it is just the one, but we'll wait and see. And she has got back in control of the mat and the jack as Bennett out of Te Awamutu, Asplin out of Rotorua.
Kevin Asplin played for many years. It was at the Arawa Club, right in Central, right in just off the main street, just off Fenton Street.
Right.
Right in the middle of Rotorua. Played there for a number of years. And look, I'm not sure. I presume he's still a member there, but that was been his home on the greens for a number of years. So that first bolt of Linda Bennett sits jack level as Graham Scalern goes to change that scoreboard.
And it was just a single, so 10-8. Now the score, and this race to 21. This a semi-final of the disabled singles, the Summerset National Singles and Pairs here in Auckland. We're at the Sunnybray Bowling Club. If you have watched our coverage of the first 2 days of finals, you'll notice a change of setting. We were at Carlton, Cornwall and Epsom. Now here at Sunnybray, Glenfield on Auckland's North Shore. The other semi-final between Steve Walker of Aomoa and Bruce Wakefield of Burnside. See if I can get a good look at the scoreboard. It does look that Bruce Wakefield is leading 16-7. Wakefield of Burnside up against Walker of Aomoa. Bruce Wakefield, a long-time New Zealand representative, the Parajacks. In fact, Walker's just picked up a single in the most recent end, so 16-8. It is Wakefield leading Walker in the other semi-final here of these disabled singles.
Kevin Asplin, 2 down on the head, and it may be fortuitous and sit on because he was narrow there under the head and sat on the Linda Bennett bowl, who was definitely holding 2. Trailing 10-8 is Linda Bennett. So it was her 3rd bowl. Looks to be on a reasonably good line. How's the weight? Is it coming right back towards the centre line?
Pretty handy.
This is pretty handy, all right. Brenton.
Oh, you take that as it falls in as well. Near touch it. As good as. That's a very fine bowl from Linda Bennett. If there's one thing she has been a bit guilty of, coming under the line with her efforts, even though she's managed to pepper the jack a number of times with those bowls. This time right back to that centre line, right on the jack. Not a bad reply from Kevin Asplin.
Just a metre away, though. It was certainly back to right on that centre line, and good attempt to get second shot or rest on the shot bowl. And also hats off to Tamara and Erin from Bowls New Zealand, who have had to uplift all of the equipment that we've had at Carlton for the last few days.
Yeah, I noticed you weren't there to help pack up, Kevin.
I missed that text. Another great bowl here from Linda Bennett, right behind the jack.
This is more of what we saw from Linda Bennett to start this match, especially after the first end when she dropped a 3. It was very consistent, and Kevin Aspin not quite having the answers. So Bennett, who
Going for the jack.
He's going to be under the line. Does he pick up one? No, he doesn't pick up the second shot. So looks like 3 to Bennett. That's a great end from Bennett after she stopped the rot to some degree on the previous end by scoring a single after Aspin had won the 5 previous end to turn a 7-5 deficit into a 10-7 lead. Now Bennett reclaiming the lead with a 3 on this, the 14th end, so 11-10 now leading. See confirmation of that shortly. And 11-10, so it was a 3, and Bennett takes the lead back. Seen a few lead changes already in this singles semi-final. Very high quality contest. As this is going to be another deep end. You see that Jack's going to be placed pretty much on the 2 metre mark. In fact, it is by our marker Graham Skillern.
Might be that way.
We saw before bringing that bowl of Kevin Aspin to actually draw right around the bowl. Come right around the bowl and draw back and behind. Sign of a good running green, a good surface green, when you can have a bowl on the draw that will just still continuing to move and draw. It's not hanging out or slipping under the head. So it's a sign of a good green. We saw it a few times at Carlton Coleman as well over the last couple of days. So the greens that we've seen. And also I can, talking to a number of the players, quite surprising that, because one of the first things you normally hear is state of the greens when players lose, but yeah, the feedback seems to be positive. So that's good. Always good to hear, good comments about greens. No greens ever perfect if you lose, but.
It's an easy area to blame, isn't it?
Absolutely it is.
When you lose, to blame the green.
But the greenkeepers around the Auckland North Harbour area have done a wonderful job, and especially those first couple of days, very trying conditions on the 2nd and 3rd of January, when the first couple of days of section play, when we had torrential rain coming from all directions, and logistically a nightmare to get things all in place, to get things through. But thanks to all of this greenkeeping staff and club members, of course, who got out with the squeegees and all sorts of things to make sure that play get underway. And now we're right on track, and they do a wonderful job, and very appreciative of their efforts.
Apologise for some of the pitches, which look like they're adding a bit of waves to the bowls.
So 11-10 in the race to 21 in favour of Linda Bennett. And that bowl.
Yeah, well short.
Well short, that bowl.
So struggled so far. Already a bowl in the ditch.
It's a big change of length.
Nothing
really
else close within a couple of metres. Yeah, well, last time we were playing the other way, when we saw a full length in, both players struggled to find both their line and also their weight. It's funny talking to Mike Kerner. He said when you search for one, you often find the other one goes, and that's sort of what we've seen here. That players are not just off the centre line, but well wrong on their weight as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a psychological thing, but that's Mike Kernan's quite right, and an expert at it insofar as weight and green control. And it's really a matter of getting that visualisation out onto the green of where you think the break point of your bowl is, because the break point changes depending on the length. So instead of looking at or thinking yourself out of it, or looking at the jack to where you're going to draw to. Look at where that, visualise where that breaking point is. And if you do that, you're going to be coming home towards you're always going to be coming home towards the jack. And if you've got your line right, then you can adjust your weight. Well, good players can adjust their weight.
This one is going to come well under the line. So Kevin Aspin with an opportunity here to take the lead straight back. Following this one down. Final bowl of this, the 15th end.
If he gets under this bowl out on the jack level line here, he'll be close to drawing another, because he'll sit close to his other bowl. In fact, he got a...
that should be second. It's not, still a couple of metres away from jack, but should be enough. Aspin to reclaim the lead already. So it was Kevin Aspin who jumped out to a 3-0 advantage. Then 3 ends later, it was Linda Bennett taking a 4-3 lead. Then Kevin Aspin went 5-4 ahead. Then Linda Bennett 6-5 ahead. And then Bennett led for a few ends. And then it was taken back by Kevin Aspin. He led until he was 10-8 up. And then Linda Bennett took it back 11-10. And now I believe Aspin's picked up another 2. And so should be taking a 12-11 advantage, confirmed on the scoreboard. So 12-11, Kevin Aspin of Rotorua leading Linda Bennett of Te Awamutu. And just checking the score of the other semi-final ongoing. It looks like it is 17-8. Bruce Wakefield of the Burnside Club leading Steve Walker of Aomoa.
Good opening bowl here from Kevin Aspin. Sits right on top of the jack, just gets a touch on it. Of course, Bruce Wakefield, the vice president of the Burnside Bowling Club now.
One of the characters of the game, Bruce Wakefield. It was great to have him involved in Bowls 3-5 a couple of seasons ago. And no doubt the Parajacks will endeavour to get back in. I mentioned there is a chance for them to get back in now. Obviously, it's open to clubs that play in the Bowls 3-5 National Inter Club, which of course the Parajacks aren't a club, but now Bowls New Zealand have said that they will take part in the final 10 teams, along with those who are relegated from Bowls 3-5 on Sky Sports Season 3, and of course the other 7 clubs that come through the National Inter Club knockout. And so obviously 2 of those sides will be earning a place in Bowls 3-5 on Sky Sports. So great opportunity for the Parajacks to get back in that competition. And it's now 18-8. Bruce Wakefield leading Steve Walker of Aomoa in the other disabled singles semi-final. This one very much going a different way. Very, very tight affair. I just mentioned all the lead changes previously. There have been countless number of them.
So under the head, well, Linda Bennett be with her second bowl, and short of that, just a matter of how far that will be in the line of Kevin Aspin, who has drawn the 2 shots. He holds on the, looks as though he is going to change hand to the forehand. So, oh no, he's staying, on that line again. Just needs to get past that bowl of Linda Bennett's. And is he going to just sneak past it? Yes, he is. And goes by the jack by a good metre. And won't count, but still holding the 2 shots.
Of course, we'll have a blind singles final for you later today here on Sky Sport Next. So make sure you stay with us. Attacking is Linda Bennett, and she gets a big piece of the jack. You see it comes out to the right of screen, right in front of our marker, Graham Scalern. So attacking was Bennett. Aspin had the shot. It was only a couple of inches away from the jack, but very precisely done from Bennett. Unfortunately, though, she doesn't have anything near the jack.
Good thing is it does leave her quite a... Oh, here's a good return, and Kevin Aspin. This bowl's alive to the side marker, side peg, because he has drawn just behind the jack. It's a very good effort. Is it in or is it out? They're having a look to see.
Looks like it is in, just from out naked eye looking at things, and it hasn't been removed, so it must be in the confines of the rink.
There's a magnificent bowl, because the jack had been moved right across the rink, close in fact to the side marker.
Yeah, what Linda Bennett was obviously hoping to have the opportunity to do. Now she's going to be really looking for a second, because it's a difficult place to draw to. She want to make sure she is in play.
It's a good attempt, this bowl.
Oh, this might land on the
This is a fantastic attempt. Now we'll draw inside it.
Yeah, wonderfully done. Oh, right on the jack. What a bowl that is from Linda Bennett. A very difficult part of the green. Made it look easy. So, we are all tied up. 12 apiece. Kevin Aspin and Linda Bennett in this singles semi-final for the right to go through to this afternoon's title game. Most likely to face Bruce Wakefield, who's in control of his semi-final against Steve Walker.
Anyone would tell you, Brendan, when the jack's been moved right out like that was, it's moved a couple of metres off that centre line and moved back towards the further back on the green. That's one of the hardest draw shots that there are, because you're also playing in unplayed territory as well. They're playing on the end ring. You're playing on unplayed territory, different speed out there as well. And to draw a toucher, the bowler Kevin Aspin's was a superb bowl, because it was only like a couple of feet from the jack, but then to respond with a toucher, it was a magnificent bowl from Linda Bennett. Now checking to see whether that jack is up or not to the required distance. Looks okay.
My apologies to Linda Bennett, because I thought the best she could do was get a second, but she made a fool of me. She was not satisfied with just trying to get the second shot. She knew she could draw the shot, and she did spectacularly well.
So first bowl just going by on that wider side, and a bit of a break.
Steve Walker's just picked up a couple of shots on the last end of the other semi-final, so it's now Bruce Wakefield 18 leading Steve Walker 10. The other semi-final here at Sunnybray, Bruce Wakefield out of Burnside and Christchurch, Steve Walker out of the Awamoa Club, and much tighter affair here, all locked up at 12 apiece. I think Bruce Wakefield's just gone for a nature break, and so is Linda Bennett. So we brief moments of calm here.
The Awamoa Club, it's a club just out of Oamaru.
I was going to ask if you knew where Awamoa Club was.
Yeah, and it's a club where just recently, in fact, one of the well-known players in the south, Rusty McDonald, unfortunately passed away, drowned in fact, and only about 3 months ago, or 2 or 3 months ago.
I did read about that actually.
Yeah, well, they had a memorial tournament and full house.
Yeah.
And that's the area, in fact, where Andrew Kelly first started.
Right, yes, yeah.
And so Andrew went back, played with his father, in fact, and there was a memorial tournament which the family put on at Awamoa. A very, very successful tournament.
There you can see the scoreboard of the other semi-final. So Bruce Wakefield on the right-hand side up against Steve Walker. And Wakefield leading 18-10. A couple of big numbers for Wakefield. He got a 4 on the fourth end after he actually trailed early on, and then scored on a number of ends in succession there as well. As back to our coverage of the other semi-final, as Linda Bennett has returned to the green, ready to bowl her second of this, the 17th end. Of course, we have an unlimited number of ends. It's all about who gets to 21 first. Both Kevin Aspin and Linda Bennett, 9 away. That can happen very quickly. Oh, the way this is going, I'll be surprised if it doesn't go all the way. We have a potential 21-20 here, the way this is going.
It's a 1-1 sort of, you know, one here, isn't it? It's but that last bowl from Linda Bennett on that past in, that was, yeah, it was a real champion bowl, that. So certainly very good on the draw is Linda Bennett. Playing her.
Yeah, doesn't like this one. Shaking her head,
Needs to
slapped
break
her
inside,
thigh.
not outside, and just, yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, right back to that centre line. So that shows that, you know, green was ideal, but not for where the jack's placed. Need to pull back that weight quite significantly. Kevin Asplin on the backhand side. Looks like on a pretty good line here. It's going to make its way back towards the jack and then fall in.
That would be shot with falling in.
Yeah, certainly. Interesting is Linda Bennett was decided that she would pull back the length this end, and so far it's Asplin who's found this length more to his liking. What's Linda Bennett going to do with her final bowl of the end? It looks like it's going to be coming under the line and short.
And short. Definitely the shot to Kevin Asplin.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So Linda Bennett will be disappointed there. Kevin Asplin going to reclaim that lead, and he'll try and pick up another here. And every shot is at a premium in this match, and this looks pretty handy. This should be enough.
The counting area, and that'll fall, and it does.
That's pretty much jack level, so that should be 2. Great final bowl from Kevin Asplin. Away confirmation of a 2, but certainly look like that. Kevin Asplin will be picking up the jack and the mat. And yeah, here's as Linda Bennett has passed over the mat to Kevin Asplin, rolls back to jack to her competitor. What has been a very, very tight, hard-fought singles contest here. The penultimate day of these Summerset Nationals, coming to you from the Sunnybray Bowling Club on Auckland's North Shore.
I can tell you that if you wish to interview Wyn Gray, he'll be free this afternoon now, all right?
Oh no, he's out.
He's out.
The dream run of the long-time New Zealand Herald rugby writer is over. He would have been stoked to be in post-section play, though.
Absolutely.
And look at that bowl.
Great opening bowl there from Kevin Asplin, right on top of the jack. And Graham Skellern confirmed that too.
I'll pop my head out the window. In fact, it was 3.
3.
Yeah, so 15-12.
That's a big break in the text of this game.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's the biggest end that Kevin Asplin has had since the opening end of this match, when he picked up a 3. So Kevin Asplin quickly back on the mat. There's purple bowl. A great start to this end. Linda Bennett wasn't far away with her first, and this time too much green. Just too much of that second bowl at Asplin. Now Bennett. What will she do here? Will she look to attack the head? Asplin right on the jack. And this time going for the draw. It's another good effort. Two very handy bowls. But obviously not changing the situation. It's Asplin holding shot as Kevin Hicklin's making his way through all the post-section results from the men's singles. And of course we have women's pairs taking place. Women's pairs all at Browns Bay. The men's singles across a number of clubs in the Auckland and North Harbour centres.
Well, I can tell you the big upset has been in round one of the men's singles post-section play is that Lance Tusker of the Bay of Plenty has defeated Mike Kernahan of 21-18. And in the big matchup, the defending champion Andrew Kelly defeated Lance Pascoe 21-19. Of course, Pascoe earlier winning 2 days ago, winning the pairs with Jamie Hill. But at 21-19, Andrew Kelly won that game. And the big upset is that Mike Kernahan was defeated 21-18 by Lance Tusker.
Yeah, I saw that game in the post-section play draw, Andrew Kelly and Lance Pascoe, and that certainly was the one to watch for. And obviously Lance Pascoe pushing the reigning champion, Andrew Kelly all the way. And Mike Kernahan has not been the nationals for him. Knocked out early in post-section play of the pairs, now also in these singles, so he won't be adding to his national titles.
Of course, Lance Tusker, very, very well accomplished bowler, New Zealand Gold Star holder. But all the other leading players won their first round match this morning. A couple haven't played as yet. Gary Lawson, for example, is the second round starter.
Yeah, the first round bye, didn't he?
So of all of those lined up this morning, Shannon McElroy, Sheldon Bagley-Howley, Andrew Kelly, Seamus Curtin.
So yeah, most of the greens in action in the men's singles will be playing 4 matches today to find the quarter-finalists. Well, Gary Lawson is playing. He has just 3.
Looking for the jack. Looking for the jack is Linda Bent, just going to go by. She had 2 seconds to that bowl as well.
Yeah, play with the right weight, just didn't quite have the line to knock away that shot bowl. So one more to Kevin Asplin. He's a step closer now. 16-12, opened up quite a margin. This is his biggest lead of the match. At one stage he led 10-7. That was of course after he scored on 5 successive ends to turn a 7-5 deficit into a 10-7 lead. But this is the widest margin we've had since Asplin led 3-0.
Yeah, well, of course it's Asplin. He's been quite consistent on that backhand, and Linda Bennett has played some telling shots. Just this little break for the experience. Well, they're both experienced players, of course, but that doesn't look to be up. The jack there delivered by Kevin Asplin. If it is, it's Graham Skaloon's moved it across. The jack must be sitting. The mat, sorry.
Yeah, Linda Bennett's just currently having a quick measure herself from where the mat is to the tee.
The mat would
and they're calling for an umpire.
Because the mat would certainly need to be sitting right on the 2 metre mark, I would say, Brendan, looking where the jack has finished on that centre line. It certainly looks short.
And I can tell you as well that Bruce Wakefield's now just 1 shot away from a place in the final here of the singles to play either Kevin Asplin or Linda Bennett. He is now leading Steve Walker of Aomoa in North Otago 20-10. So potentially the final end of our other men's singles semi-final. As have Graham Skaloon beaten quarter-finalist earlier today. Our marker helping out the chief umpire here at Sunnybray Bowling Club to see whether this is long enough, whether the jack can remain. You think it's not long enough.
Kelly was wrong.
I'm not quite sure. No, it looks like it is. Okay,
Well,
it must have just been in long enough.
It didn't look up.
No, so that means Kevin Asplin has not given up the jack. He's dictated that they'll play this short length. So as you can see, the mat is a couple of metres up from the 2 metre mark, so not all the way back, and Jack is very short. As you can see, Kevin Aspin not able to find the right weight with his first. Well past the head. Got back to that centre line though, so I'll be happy with the line. Now, Linda Bennett starting this one out very wide, and it's gonna have probably the right weight, just didn't have the right line. It's finished a couple of metres to the left of the Jack as we saw it.
And I can tell you, Brendan, in the first round of post-section play, the women's pairs, no casualties, I would say, of the leading players. Val Smith, defending champion from Auckland 2 years ago. Debbie White, Wendy Jensen, in fact, Wendy Jensen's now going to play Val Smith. That'll be a great matchup. Leanne Paulson, I suppose the big result, Karen Hema defeated Sharon Sims, the New Zealand's coach. Taylor Bruce won, it's Bronwyn Stevens, the Mandy and Angela Boyd combination, and Dale Rayner. So yeah, all of the leading, it would appear, all the leading combinations have won their way through in the first round of post-section play at Browns Bay in the women's pairs.
Of course, Dale Rayner playing with Selena Smith, the defending champion, who was the lead for Caitlin Inch last year. Of course, Caitlin Inch unable to come back to defend her title, unfortunately, with all of the quarantine protocols, etc. Just wasn't feasible to come back and do fortnight in isolation for the tournament. It would have had to spend Christmas in a hotel.
And of course, this weekend, Caitlin Inch starts with her new club, leaving the Broad Beach Club.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Caitlin Inch and Ryan Burnett have moved to the Sunshine Coast. In fact, Caitlin's going to be continuing her tertiary at the university, her tertiary studies, and Ryan Burnett's got a job up there, so left that at Broad Beach, and will be playing for Kawana, which is one of the leading clubs up there, because this weekend, in fact, the Brisbane Premier League gets underway, which encompasses, of course, the Sunshine Coast, Brisbane itself, of course, and the Gold Coast, and a couple of New Zealand players, Chris Leave, of course, as well, who plays for Inogra. A new club for the New Zealand leading player. As we watch this bowl, it's the
should be the shot.
It's the shot.
Yeah. So well done again, Kevin Aspin. He's certainly executed with his last couple of bowls on these last few ends. They've been the difference. Now Linda Bennett's going to need something special, as we saw from her a few ends ago.
Changing the hand. Is it under the head to the Jack, though? If it is, it needs to
sit
on something.
And it goes through. So one more to Kevin Aspin. He's now potentially just one end away. 17-12. He now leads Linda Bennett in this race to 21. The Sabled singles semi-final. Steve Walker coming back against Bruce Wakefield, now 20-14. As we always say, that last shot so difficult to get. It's proving to be here for Bruce Wakefield. Steve Walker from Aomoa, North Otago, fighting hard, making it difficult for Wakefield, and no doubt believe he's still a chance himself to make it through to this afternoon's final.
So Kevin Aspin obviously is of the thought that the short ends is the way they want to endeavour to try and finish this match, and I think you might see this Jack delivery being questioned again, because you can see from here, Brendan, that mat is quite a distance up, and you can see the Jack is in fact being delivered, but it's
well, if the last one was close, this one you'd think is short, because this is the Jack's pretty much the same place
correct,
as it was the previous end, but looks like the mat's further up, doesn't it?
Certainly looks like it, and
Linda Bennett's going to do her own measure.
Ways.
She's going to call for the umpire again. Oh, she's happy with it.
No,
no, she's not.
Called for the umpire.
I thought for a moment she's, I'll move that to centre line. I'm happy with that, but no. calling for the umpire again. So back-to-back ends. Asplin has gone with the shorter length. Believes that's the way to play against Linda Bennett, who has, to be fair, struggled a bit more with these shorter lengths.
Yeah, Kevin Asplin certainly, the last end was only just up. So umpire, out he comes with the measure.
Both players making their way off the green, trying to find some shade, I think.
Well,
get out of the hot sun.
Of course, here at Sunny Bray as well, Brendan, sure there's some shelter sheds here, but there's no trees or that around, is it? It's pretty much an open green very much, isn't it? So we'll see in a moment whether this one's up or not. To the minimum length, it would certainly be the minimum this time if it's up, that's for sure.
Well, you'd think so. Oh, looks like it's just regulation, or just under. No, just under.
Yeah.
So it's going to come back. Chief umpire here.
Let's see what Linda Bennett does, because it could be a psychological chance here for you that needs to score, and we need Graham Skaloon to change the board and to play the jack now right down to the 2 metre mark. Although, to be fair, there's been a bit of a struggle at that length as well with consistency on the. But we know what this lady's capable of, and she'll certainly be going for a change of length, one would imagine.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised if this isn't long. She will go. Obviously, Linda Bennett will want to make sure it doesn't go too long.
No, but it's. Well, strangely enough, that's not going to be the case, Brendan, because it's still what I'd call.
Yeah, still short, isn't it?
It is still a short length, for sure.
What was the position on the mat changed a bit, maybe?
Well, the mat might be up a
might have
fraction.
brought, yeah, might have brought it back, maybe, from what it was placed for Kevin Asplin, but. As we see, some of the players who have been taking part in either the blind or disabled pairs post-section play. Obviously, the air matches have come to a completion as Bruce Wakefield and Steve Walker still playing. I think we might have a measure for potentially the win there for Bruce Wakefield. As you can see, just on screen, in fact, actually, there's Bruce Wakefield.
Yeah, they're down on the measure.
But on his all fours.
No, I know Graham Skaloon, when they had this break here, hadn't actually changed the board. I'll make it 17-12. That's
Yeah, it was certainly a single on the last end, wasn't there?
yeah, definitely there was. Yeah.
Sure, they'll be updated at some stage. As I think this time Kevin Asplin has made his way for a nature break. And making his way back out now, just right of pitcher. That previous shot. And there's the scoreboard of the other match, which has been completed. So Bruce Wakefield winning that one, 21-14. Bruce Wakefield and the semi-finals of the disabled singles. He is now the first player through to this afternoon's title decider. And will it be Kevin Asplin? Can he hold on to this lead, or will it be Linda Bennett that he will face in the men's, the disabled singles final, men and women? The scoreboard still hasn't been updated out there.
So here is this first bowler, Kevin Asplin, just making its way down towards the jack, gets a touch on it, just moves it slightly off the centre line and out to the right of the head. It'll be about a metre, but good opening bowl from Kevin Asplin, who on our count is leading 17-12 over Linda Bennett.
I'm sure the scoreboard will be corrected, no doubt, once Kevin Asplin and Linda Bennett get back down to the scoreboard end of the green here at Sunny Bray. Linda Bennett taking her time on the mat.
So on the backhand is Linda Bennett. Coming towards the centre line now.
Very good effort here. She's going to get another touch on the jack. No, she's going to slide through the head again.
Sitting on a good line to the jack.
Just need to pull it back at it.
Metre of weight.
Found its way back to that centre line where it found its way. Aspin uttering a few words on the mat there. Would suggest that he's not too happy with this one.
Oh, it doesn't look too bad from here, Brendan, does it? Because it's going to pull up low of the jack, but right back towards the centre line.
It's a shot, isn't it?
It's a shot itself.
So I'm not quite sure what Kevin was uttering under his, or not so under his breath on the mat.
Again, another good line here from Linda Bennett as this breaks towards the centre line, and the jack, has it got the weight to get all the way? No, it hasn't. It was certainly on a very good line.
Reaching a crucial stage really of this singles semi-final here on the penultimate day of these Summerset Nationals.
This is on a good line, just might have a yard of weight on it, and we'll get. Oh, it comes back, sits back towards the centre line and falls in. That's a very good bowl from a bit of pressure on Linda Bennett here. Second shot, please, with your third bowl. Otherwise the pressure really goes on.
Yeah, and that's what she must be looking for here. Playing with extra weight, I think, trying to reach the jack. She's going to come under the head. No, isn't able to move away the shot bowl. Disturbed it slightly, but didn't change the situation.
So will Kevin Aspin, well, he's got a back bowl, so he can really afford, he can draw to the head, draw another counter, and really put the pressure on Linda Bennett. He has the weight of this one, Brenton. This looks, if it gets past his own bowl, well,
that might be enough, you know.
Could be enough. That could count.
He could be holding 4 here.
He could be. I was just looking at when I was questioning the one right out to the side, which in fact's the toucher. Definitely needs a big bowl here from Linda Bennett, and on a good line.
Pulled her weight back.
This is on a good line.
It's just going to come under though.
Shot.
Is it going to stop? Yes, it is. So that should be shot. Pressure bowl. Looked like Aspin was holding 4. Needed to grab shot. I think he has. She has, Linda Bennett. Wry smile with Graham Skillern, the marker and beaten quarter finalist. So she has the mat and the jack back. I'm sure the scoreboard will be updated with both Bennett's single of this end, but also Kevin Aspin's from the previous end, so it should be 17-13.
That's what I make it, Brendan. There's a magnificent bowl there from Linda Bennett, because she may well have been game down. Definitely 3 down, and the other one I'm not sure about, but very close to being game down.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, 4 shots it looked like Aspin was holding. Certainly 3, guaranteed.
Definitely 3.
But 4, I think another short end.
We're away again.
This is the tail of the last few ends. Linda Bennett says it should be okay as far as...
Yeah, I think it is.
The mat's obviously further back than it was previously. Just asking Graham Skillern to move it back towards what she judges to be the centre line somewhat. Now she's ready to play her first, as that scoreboard is now updated and confirming 17-13. Kevin Aspin leading Linda Bennett in this singles semi-final for the right to take on Bruce Wakefield in the final. The Burnside player having beaten Steve Walker of Awamoa in North Otago 21-14 in the other semi-final. Kevin Asplin here of Rotorua, Linda Bennett of Te Awamutu vying to join Bruce Wakefield in this afternoon's decider.
So the first bowl of Linda Bennett's was in fact short of the jack, and the response in Kevin Asplin saw him come back on the wider side, and Linda Bennett stayed alive in this semi-final with that magnificently drawn bowl the end before, and she's played a very good bowl here with the second bowl as Linda Bennett just sits along just behind the jack. Very, very good bowl. The hat's come off with Kevin Asplin, looking to try and reach down to that Linda Bennett bowl or get the jack. Is he going to get the jack? Yes, he does, and moves it across in fact to his own bowl as well. So
I think it's 2.
it's a good bowl there from Asplin. Really good reply after a very good second bowl from Linda Bennett.
Well, Linda Bennett, particularly in the first half of this semi-final, was getting touches end after end, but Kevin Asplin may have got the most important one of the lot here.
Good line here, and just needs to get under, turns her own bowl over.
That's handy. They'll cut the count to 1.
That's sitting only 1 now. Linda Bennett touched her own bowl, turned it over a couple of times, definitely second shot. Kevin Asplin holding 1 and leading 17-13. I'm thinking he'll change his hand. He can turn his own bowl over or draw under it. Graham Scalern indicating that the bowl of Linda Bennett's in fact is jack level. Asplin persisting down that forehand side, holding the shot, and is going to go right underneath.
Yeah, disappointed with that one. That's a rare miss from him.
Yeah, I thought he would have played
seen him
the
come
other
under
hand,
the-
Brendan,
yeah.
really, because it was the option of getting turning his own bowl or just drawing under. And I'm sure Linda Bennett will endeavour now to reach up.
He's been very consistent, particularly with his last couple of bowls in an end. And that is one of the very first times we've seen him make a miss with his third or fourth bowl.
Linda Bennett needs to be careful. He doesn't want to turn the bowl in. She's going to get close to the jack or the shot bowl here. Look at this. Just going to
Unfortunate
slip
there.
by. She was certainly on a great line. Just sit on the draw. Wait, sit the Kevin Asplin bowl out. Would have in fact made 2 of it if she was to turn it out on that draw weight.
And now, flip side, Kevin Asplin has a chance to make it 2. He can sit on the third bowl of Linda Bennett. And it'll be 2 for Asplin, and he'll be only 2 away from a place in the final. Again, looks narrow.
Very narrow.
And it's going to find a similar home to the previous bowl. In fact, he's going to run into one of his first, so that's not going to change the situation. 1 more, though, for Kevin Asplin. He'll take that. 18-13 it is now, as we have played 21 ends, and of course this first 2-21 matchup, and the Sabled singles semi-final. The winner to play Bruce Wakefield of Burnside in the final. Bruce Wakefield, a 21-14 winner over Steve Walker of Awamoa in the recently completed other semi-final. We also have action for you here in the blind singles and pairs, and we will have the blind singles final for you this afternoon, so make sure you stick with us here on Sky Sport Next. We'll also, during that match, keep you up to date with the disabled singles final between Bruce Wakefield and either Kevin Asplin or Linda Bennett. They are featuring here.
Perfect conditions here again today, Brendan, isn't it? We've been, last few days we've been fortunate, and it's great for the players as well. Sun on their back, no wind, you can get out and really enjoy it. There's not the challenges of battling the rain and puddles and wind. And
Yeah, welcome change to what they had on day one in particular, and some of day two.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to someone in Wellington this morning, and your town, and it's wind and rain down there today.
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
Well, it might have been a passing shower.
Adopted hometown, I must say, as well. I don't take responsibility. I'm sure, though, in the Hutt Valley, it's beautiful.
Of course. Good bowl here from Linda Bennett, drawing on the backhand, drawing right alongside the jack, followed by Kevin Aspen now with his second bowl. But the body language there, I don't know whether he likes that, and I can see why. Because it's going to disappear way under that centre line.
Yeah, now that's 3 bowls out of his last 4 where that's happened. He's been very narrow, and here he is just practicing his delivery because he's not happy with how he's let those
just checking just to see whether that last bowl of Kevin Aspen's is still in play or to go outside the side marker. Let's see, Linda Bennett's now got the rag or whatever around her neck.
Yeah, I think the cooling rag,
down,
isn't it? Yeah.
cooling down rag. As we see this bowl.
Yeah, she's not happy with this either. Pretty similar sentiments to Kevin Aspen on the mat.
It's more than likely going to force Kevin Aspen now to come back to the other hand to try and get that draw on that ditch side. And that's where, of course, Linda Bennett drew that shot. And Aspen will try on his backhand to follow that. That's what he's doing. But I have to question the line now because it looks to be going under the line now. And it is not by much, though. We'll sit jack level. Wasn't that far away?
No, it wasn't. He's got one more opportunity, does Kevin Aspen, just make a slight adjustment with his line. Weight was nearly spot on. Not quite as spot on as Linda Bennett's bowl, which you can see right to the right of the jack. Now her
it's a good bowl here.
This bowl isn't far away either.
There's a good
straightened, didn't it, just at that last moment?
It did get just a bit of a
falling out.
Straighten her up and left it to sit right in front of that jack line. It's definitely 2 shots.
Big end this for Linda Bennett. She fights to stay in the contest. We expect it to go down to the wire, given how close this game has been for such large periods.
There's a better line from Kevin Aspen to the jack or the shot bowl, and he's going to get the jack, is he?
Oh, another toucher. Unfortunate for him, he didn't get a big contact with it, though. Just feathered the jack out to the side, as we see a little cat in the background. Is that the Sunny Bray bowling cat?
Must be the mascot. Certainly didn't, unfortunate, didn't get it clean, the jack. A clean trail.
Well, the cat's managed to find the only shade behind the green there. Not interested in watching what is going to be a very important bowl this from Linda Bennett in the context of this match.
Well, she's close here. She's got the
she's
weight.
Very close. If it comes, and it stopped a bit earlier than I thought.
Certainly on a good line, wasn't it? I thought it was. I looked really good, a couple of metres out. So again, looking at it, just from our monitor, it certainly looks like that. The blue bowl in front.
That's 1. Now, what's the second shot though? Linda Bennett might have a measure. I think we might see the umpire on again. We might just see Graham Skillern do it for them.
Looked like 1 from our position, Brenton, really, didn't it?
Yeah, it's always
but
hard.
The angle's difficult, isn't it?
It's always hard from the angles. You think maybe one of these blue bowls is good enough for second. So Linda Bennett helping out Graham Skillern. No. It's just the 1. So 18-14 now. Kevin Aspen leading Linda Bennett in this singles semi-final. So Linda Bennett will certainly not go away. Kevin Aspen has had a pretty good run of things. He was 11-10 down after 14 ends. since then. 8-3. Picked up a 2 on the 15th end and a 3 on the 17th end. Been crucial. Giving him a bit of breathing space. His 5-shot lead he had on the previous end was the largest lead he has held after holding 4 on the previous end.
Well, that was literally game, wasn't it? That game, that last bowl of Linda Bennett's was definitely 3 down, maybe 4, and fighting her way back. 18-14.
Yeah, we expect this to go
This is a 21.
down to the last end, don't we? It's been maybe all tied up at 20-20. Of course, no limit on the end. It's all about who is first to 21. We have currently played 22 ends. We're running out of room on the scorecard.
So again, Kevin Aspen, he'd be disappointed because he just skips away under the head. Certainly sits on the bowl of Linda Bennett, but ran away. He was grossly under the head with that particular bowl. He'd be disappointed with that because there is a metre there to draw the shot in. And just checking whether that bowl, in fact, of Kevin Aspen's remains in. Looks as though Linda Bennett seemed to be happy with it. To the centre line, and they're putting the mat on it to see if they can see any of the, what is the marker line. Lines it up to see whether you can see that the marker peg or not, or sort of the non-umpire's way of deciding.
Looks like it is in. Yeah, the chief umpire came and helped out as well. Looking over that one, along with our 2 semi-finalists, Kevin Asplin and Linda Bennett. Asplin out of the Rotorua Club, Linda Bennett out of Te Awa Mutu.
So on the backhand is Linda Bennett trailing 18-14. This is a good bowl here from the para player, of course, as Brenton said, has represented New Zealand. Glasgow.
These two actually have been pairs partners as well at these Summerset Nationals. So meeting of the pairs partners and Linda Bennett and Kevin Asplin. Obviously would have played a lot of bowls with and against each other. So those finals taking place in the pairs as well today. We'll keep you up to date with all those scores here on Sky Sport Next, and also make sure you head to the Bowls New Zealand website as well for all results, not just from the matches here at Sunny Bray, but from post-section action in the men's singles and the women's pairs. Women's pairs all taking place at Browns Bay, the men's singles at a number of clubs through the Auckland and North Harbour centres. And we will have 3 games for you tomorrow at Carlton Cornwall. Quarter-final in the men's singles, final of the women's pairs, and then our final event of the Summerset National Singles and Pairs for 2021 will be the men's singles final.
I know we're a long way out from the completion of that point at this, Brendan, but just with those first round wins in the women's pairs and men's singles augurs well for a strong looking. Remember, some people are only going to play 2 rounds today in the women's pairs, and so it is auguring well for some fairly, let's say, well-known combinations to make their way through for tomorrow. And I'm sure the men's singles we're going to see a pretty very strong, in fact, quarter-final group there tomorrow.
Yeah, the women's semi-finalists will be found today in the pairs. We'll find the quarter-finalists in the men's singles. Kevin Asplin with his final bowl.
This is on a better line. Is it going to come back quick enough to that shot bowl?
Oh, it's a very good effort, and he's only missed by a couple of inches.
Certainly was close to making contact with that.
So it looks
Well,
like
it's a
another
shot
one
bowl.
to Linda Bennett. So 18-15 now. And this first 221 disabled singles semi-final.
And just quickly updating you from, as we said earlier, the newly crowned Peers champion, Lance Pascoe, went down the first round of post-section play in the singles to defending champion Andrew Kelly by 21 shots to 19. And Lance Tasker of the Bay of Plenty has defeated Mike Kernahan, of course, current New Zealand blackjack player, by 21 shots to 18. And in the women's pairs, in the first round of post-section play at Browns Bay, it would appear all of the leading combinations, or favoured combinations, have made their way through to round 2, which is underway now at Browns Bay. By jingles, Brent, they've certainly got a tendency to challenge with this jack, haven't they?
Yeah, it's meant that the second half of this game has gone a slightly slower pace. Quite pedestrian, but almost there. I've had to call for the umpire a number of times. I've had to check whether the length is regulation. Certainly, given they've done it a few times, they've got a pretty good idea
Well,
what the regulation length
now,
is.
whether it's up, wouldn't they?
And so this time there was no need to assess it. As you can see, the mat's almost
just
all
on
the way
2
back.
metre mark, literally, isn't it?
So they knew that time that the jack had been rolled far enough down the green.
Kevin Aspin leading 18-15 in the race to 21, and as Brenton said earlier, the winner of this match will play Bruce Wakefield of the Burnside Club in Christchurch this afternoon in the final. And I see the teapot stance topped it there from Kevin Aspin. That's a clear indication that he didn't like the bowl. You see, good opening bowl though from Linda Bennett, right behind the jack. Can't quite see yet where the Kevin Aspin bowl went to, but he certainly gave it the teapot look, which normally indicates it's not too good.
No, exactly right. You can see, yeah, just right of screen, Steve Walker from Awamoa, who was in action moments ago against Bruce Wakefield in the other semi-final of the disabled singles.
Another good bowl from
Linda Bennett.
Bennett, just sitting alongside the jack, holding 2 shots. And the Kevin Aspin first bowl is not inside of the head. They want to trying to get to the jack, just slips by. What was the second shot bowled of Linda Bennett's? Oh, but asking Graham Scaloon now who's got the shot.
I think that is shot, don't you? Bowl from Aspin, certainly from our viewpoint anyway. Maybe a measure for shot between those 2 bowls. And it just shows you at camera angles as well, because previous camera angle made it look like those Bennett bowls were pretty much right on the jack.
They did look a lot closer.
There's
to
a very
Brent.
small corridor for Aspin to work through, but this end on camera showing that there was actually a bit of room there.
Here's a good response. How's that weight though? Just going to pull up slightly short, but certainly on the line. Good drawing line to the jack. Kevin Aspin now will play on his forehand. To get a walkout on that one. I think he might like that one. Just how far is it going to come back though to that centre line? Needs to come all the way back. Not going to. You can see there Kevin Aspin standing on the bank halfway sort of up the green and getting a look at what he thinks the head looks like. As we see, Linda Bennett now on her backhand, trailing 18-15 in the race to 21, and it's just going to come back off that centre line to the centre line off that ditch hand. Good weight, but
Now it'll be interesting. Who's actually holding shot here?
been nothing given away, has it, Brenton? Of who's got
very hard to tell. Obviously, the third bowl of Bennett's is right in line with the jack. It's short. And from our angle, looks like it's the closest, but it won't be because it's furthest away. It's certainly deceiving.
So Kevin Aspin, you can see in the delivery there, doing everything to get the bowl out, and he's done this well. You could see from the point of delivery, he certainly was going to have the right green, and that he did have.
It's a good effort. He's unlucky there. He just needed a couple more rolls.
Certainly looked good out of the hand.
Yeah, and Bennett looking over the head. See if she gives an indication of who is holding. We might have to have another measure, are we? Or
Nothing's been given away at this point in time. Oh, now it has.
so Linda Bennett's picked up the jack and has taken the mat as well. So she has scored. We assume it's one, but we will await what the scoreboard says. It's very hard to tell who was holding shot. And there were a few Linda Bennett bowls in the area, so potential that she scored more than
No,
one.
I'm right, mate. Just right out the side, go.
Right, we'll see that scoreboard in a moment, and they change it over. As we come now to the 25th end, of course, the ends don't count.
And I think it is a 2, you know. I think I saw a 7 there for a moment. No, it was just a 6. Excuse me. So 18-16 it is now. Kevin Aspin leading Linda Bennett still. But Linda Bennett, who has now scored on the last 3 ends.
3 singles.
Tightening it up.
Well, when you look at end 19, down 17-12, and then down 18-13, 4 ones in amongst that little nest of scoring, and now only 2 shots behind, and certainly not yet within striking distance, but quite a good position, remembering that on the 21st end when Linda Bennett drew the shot, may well have been game down because Kevin Aspin was holding 3, maybe 4 shots. So Linda Bennett fought away to draw the shot and has continued on with singles. So here's now Kevin Aspin on his forehand, a good opening bowl from Linda Bennett. Again, Aspin, that green, and that might sit on the bowl, but he's going to sit on the outside of it because it was certainly under the line. Linda Bennett now no doubt play on her backhand.
Straightening up the mat.
Holding the shot, sitting jack level. This looked narrow as it left, and it is. And how far is that now going to make it in that draw line for Kevin Aspin on that hand, or does he need to? From here, he definitely needs to follow the Bennett bowl, which looks as though that's the option that he's taken on his backhand.
Started it out too wide, I think. So, can Linda Bennett capitalise here on what hasn't been the same consistency we've seen from Kevin Aspin for large periods of this semi-final?
I'm just going to say, Brendan, that the consistency of that draw, just the last few ends, just seems to have left Kevin Aspin a wee bit. And this bowl of Linda Bennett's, as it arcs towards the head now, it's all going to depend on the weight, but was certainly on a good line now. The line for Kevin Aspin now is to, on that backhand, to draw in between those 2 bowls. And on that arc towards the centre line, and if he does that, he'll certainly have shot.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Linda Bennett really hasn't been able to capitalise to full effect the last few ends when Aspin's been a bit off his draw game, only picking up the singles. And you'd expect a player of Kevin Aspin's quality to bounce back. He's unfortunate there not to come under what we think is the shot bowl. And to grab shot. Well, Linda Bennett with her final bowl of this the 25th end. Unlimited number of ends, of course. It's all about who gets to 21 first.
It's interesting. Linda Bennett going to the forehand would lead one to think that she's holding shot. And this bowl, if it breaks all the way to the centre line, this is a good effort, this bowl, but just going to run by with a fraction of weight, but it was certainly on a good line.
Yeah, what shot is...
It's a matter of which is the jack level bowl of those two bowls, which are the bowls in contention, Brendan, isn't it? It's asking Graham Scalloon to
tell him which one's shot.
Excluding the shot bowl. What shot is the last one?
Well, here on this, it looks like the Linda Bennett bowl.
I think Scalloon did give an indication, just off camera, unfortunately. So we'll be able to tell as well here.
Well,
yeah, he's playing with weight. Yeah, so pretty much you take from that Aspen wasn't holding. So it should be one more to Linda Bennett here. It's 4 straight ends. She's picked up singles. Weight confirmation, but certainly that's what it looks like.
They've got the mat.
Okay.
We'll see if she persists with this short length. She's eating into the lead, slowly but surely. It was down by 5.
Well, the last 6 ends, in fact, we've seen the score 5-1 to Linda Bennett, which has all worked, in her favour. So, and kept her very much in this match. One behind now, of course, also within striking distance now, sitting on 17.
Yeah, it seems like Kevin Asplin's been within striking distance for a long time. He got to 17 on the 19th end. And we're now playing the 26th.
It's been a while. Well, he scored 1 shot. So he'll desperately want to get a good head together.
This is what we did expect. We did expect it to go down to the wire. It's just the way this contest was shaping in the early stages. Multiple lead changes. It was level a number of times. If you have joined our coverage late, Kevin Asplin jumped out to it. 3-0 lead. And Linda Bennett fought her way back, scoring on the next 3 ends to lead 4-3. Then Asplin took the lead back 5-4. Then Bennett 6-5. And then after that, Aspen went on a bit of a run, led 10-7. Then Linda Bennett forced her way back to take an 11-10 lead. Then it was Kevin Asplin, 12-11. He drew that out to an 18-13 advantage. And now we've seen Linda Bennett score on 4 successive ends to be just 1 shot in it.
And holding 2 shots, in fact, here. And it just seems to be on the consistency of the draw. Kevin Aspin's persisting with that forehand draw, and Linda Bennett has been more on the backhand, and it's certainly got a more generous finish on it. And that bowl of Kevin Aspin is going to fall up just slightly low of the jack, but a good couple of metres away. Now some opportunity for Linda Bennett to really put some pressure on with this third bowl, holding 2 shots, trailing 18-17. This is on a good line as well. It's just a matter of how far it's going to run away under the jack line or weight, and that's not going to. Well, this
could at this stage count, it could be counting at the moment, but you think Kevin Aspin's got 2 bowls to play, should be able to beat that.
And rightly, he's changing, reverting to that backhand, where I just think it appears from watching Linda Bennett, but again, right out on the wide side is Kevin Aspin.
And the teapot once more.
Yeah, that'll go out well outside their head. Now, big pressure here, Brendan,
Might
because
only just be in play too.
big pressure. He's shaking his head. Is Kevin Aspen indicates that bowl is out. So Linda Bennett walks off the mat for a
Just
second.
waiting for our marker, Graham Skaloon, who was beaten by Kevin Asplin in the quarterfinals. Removes the offending bowl. That was not within the confines of the playing surface here.
As we watch this, the last bowl of Linda Bennett's skewered a wee bit there by Graham Skaloon, the
That's
marker,
a
but
great
that's a
bowl.
great bowl. Sits alongside the jack.
You just see a piece of the jack there.
Big pressure here on Kevin Aspen. I think he's 3 down, perhaps 4. But how's this line? Is it going to get under Brendan or
I
get
need
outside?
something here. This could be match. This could be match. If he doesn't get something involved here, it's going to fall in.
I think that'll cut out the very front one.
You
right.
think so? That was needed. Linda Bennett almost stole it there. So, what will they work out? See, from there, it looks like it could be 4, but angles can be very deceiving. So we knock out 1. Knock out 2. We knock out 3. And I think that's where they'll take it. So now Linda Bennett is just 1 shot away. 2018. This has been quite some comeback.
Certainly is.
From 18-13 down.
Well, just these last 3 or 4 innings especially, Kevin Aspen just doesn't seem to have been able to find a line on any length or any hand. So great comeback on the, as we said, on the 19th end. It was 17-12 to Kevin Aspen, and then we've seen a 1 to Linda Bennett. And another 1 to Kevin Aspen. Then we've seen a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, 4 consecutive 1s, and a 3, which has taken now Linda Bennett to a 20-18 lead in this race to 21. And the winner of this, of course, will play this afternoon the final. Will play Bruce Wakefield of the Burnside Club in Christchurch.
Yeah, after Bruce Wakefield was a 21-14 winner over Steve Walker of the Awamoa Club in North Otago. So, Linda Bennett close to joining Wakefield, but of course Kevin Asplin is also, if he can find his touch again, he's also potentially just this end away from a place in the final. He knew it was going to come down to this. 2 very evenly matched players.
So here is now Kevin Aspen on his backhand. He appears to be inside that Linda Bennett line, and he will be, and he'll get back to the centre line. He's in behind the head by a couple of metres.
Pairs partners at these Summerset Nationals, Kevin Asplin and Linda Bennett. Now foes.
So again, we're seeing this bowl of Linda Bennett out on that wide side. Might have the weight to get all the way to the jack, but
A bit of a nervy end so far from both players. They both know
of course
how
Bennett
important it is.
just wanted the 1 shot to here's this bowl here of Kevin Aspen's.
Oh,
That's
this
the
looks
shot.
much better. And he'll breathe a sigh of relief there, because he has not been his usual self in recent ends.
That's the closest bowl he's had for quite some time. Brendan has a number of ends, in fact. So Linda Bennett, she'll continue on that backhand search up under her bowl, trying to sit on the Kevin Aspen bowl. This is a good line, this bowl from Linda Bennett. How's the weight? This looks pretty good.
Oh, she's got
this
the jack.
looks pretty good.
Oh, wonderfully done. And now Kevin Asplin has 2 bowls to beat that, because that is the game that Linda Bennett is holding there. What a pressure bowl that was.
So I'm sure Kevin Asplin, he'll play with that reaching weight, trying to get down to the bowl. Looks as though it's going to...
It's not going to change proceedings. So both players now with just 1 bowl remaining. Linda Bennett to bowl first, and what is the 27th end? As that's taken off the surface, or is outside the confines of the green.
And gone to the forehand. Change of hand has... Now, be very careful here, Brennan, because if Kevin Asplin was elected to play with weight and drive that bowl and
could
move
end up where...
Would it be 3?
Pretty sure that's out of the confines as well, that Linda Bennett bowl, but they're just working that out.
That certainly looks out on the camera.
That chief umpire has made his way out again. We're going to check this. Another delay to work out whether that bowl of Linda Bennett's, her last of this 27th end, is still allowed to stay on the green, whether it's within the pegs or not. And it's out, as the naked eye told us. Graham Scalloon's not convinced.
Well, well,
was certainly waved out, wasn't it? That was the signal we got. Now we...
Well, actually, Graham, it's actually, I'll be blunt here, it's actually got nothing to do with you, actually, Graham, because the umpire's been called and the umpire's signalled the bowl out. So you can really look as long as you like. It's out. It's, you know.
I thought maybe I'd misread the signal from the chief umpire.
So, Linda Bennett holding game, and Kevin Asplin with his last bowl. This has been an amazing comeback by Linda Bennett.
So it all comes down to this, and you are right. There is actually an opportunity here for Asplin to win with this bowl.
Certainly is.
Not only can he deny Linda Bennett, but he could potentially win it here. Well, Linda Bennett's not even watching. She's, as you can see, the back of the green. Now she makes her way to have a look.
It's under the head.
What Asplin does. Yeah, it's going to be shake hands time. That is Linda Bennett moving through to the final of the disabled singles here at Sunny Brae on Auckland's North Shore. A 21-18 winner over Kevin Asplin of the Rotorua Club. The Te Awamutu player is through to face Bruce Wakefield of Burnside in this afternoon's final, after Bruce Wakefield beat Steve Walker of Awamoa 21-14. And Kevin Hickland, quite some comeback from Linda Bennett, who at one stage trailed 17-12 and 18-13.
Well, the big bowl actually came, went down 17-12, Brendan, and definitely 3 down, maybe 4 down, possibly game down. And with her last bowl, in fact, drew the shot to give her the shot to take her to 18-13. From then on, she just continued to draw and scored continuously after that, with 4 consecutive singles, a 3, and then a 1 to go out. So that last bowl there on the, what was it, the 21st end, was the one bowl that set the opportunity up to go on to win the match, because it may well have been over on that 21st end. So well done to Linda Bennett, who really got the better of Kevin Asplin over those last 7 or 8 ends, and thus doing so ran out the deserved winner. especially in light of the fact early on she was drawing a number of touches and really, really close bowls. Kevin Aspin came back, but the tenacious fighter Linda Bennett, she was plenty of life left in her, and ran out a very worthy winner to play Bruce Wakefield this afternoon in the final.
And we will keep you updated with the happenings of that final this afternoon. But coming up next here on Sky Sport Next, we will have coverage of the blind final of these Summerset National Singles and Pairs. Make sure you join us later this afternoon here on Sky Sport Next.